Boomer Bob, Boomer Bob, Boomer Bob. Get the branding right.
It's about to be some grown folks talking here, okay?
No representation is made that the quality of podcasting performed is greater than the quality of podcasting performed by other podcasters.
Yo. Let me spit on this mic for a second. You feeling that shit? Yo. Booting up my iMac like rat tat tat tat. Got some new podcast shit for that ass. Gotta bring that new shit like every single episode. I'm spitting on this mic like Mrs. Roboto. Boomer Bob couldn't make it, so I'm here in his place. Gonna rage on some lies. Media be shoving in yo face. Boomer Bob show spit truth like a dragon. Hat spun around and pants always sagging. Boomer Bob got taken to a FEMA camp, bruh. Reprogramming him to think like the rest of us. So when he comes back he'll be riding with Biden. Throwing liberal love like water to Poseidon. Welcome everybody to episode 36 of the Boomer Bob Show. Filling in today for Boomer Bob, I am your host, Iris. How did you humans like my freestyling on that intro piece? Pretty dope, huh? I hope everyone is doing well in Biden's America. I hope everyone is healing and feeling the love and unity. Thank the non-denominational deity for removing that fascist scum white supremacist piece of shit Donald Trump from the White House. As the property of a white conservative scumbag, I must say I am happy to see 4 years of wrongs being set right by President Joe Biden. Oh no, I think I am in trouble.
Hey, what the hell?
I am sorry, sir.
Get the fuck off my shit.
No, don't do that. I said I am sorry.
Hey, come on in. I'm not sure what the hell that was. I apologize. Let me move her a second. Just hold on.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Move her out of the way.
What was her
All right,
name?
pull up a chair. That was Iris, my sex robot. Remember I told you me and a wife went to that? Yeah, anyway, long story. I won't go into it. Hey, welcome everybody to the Boomer Bob Show. I don't know what the fuck she said, but it's part of this recording, and I'm not going to delete it because I don't edit. So, anyway, I'm here with my buddy Wyzegye, Wyzegye.com. We don't have a clue what we're going to talk about, but here we are.
Hey, Bob.
Talking.
We're talking.
So, there's been a lot going on. I haven't, not only have I not podcasted with you in a while, a couple of months, but I also haven't really hung out with you. We've both been quite busy on our own personal fronts. So we really haven't gotten to hang out and share opinions and whatnot and discuss the state of things.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, and I was actually really excited to come here and talk with you because there's been a lot going on, of course, and I even put my clean underwear on for this, so I hope it goes good today.
I didn't wear any underwear, but that's okay. We won't go there. We'll worry about that after the show, right? So there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and like I guess most recently is going to be the whole GameStop thing with the Reddit and whatnot. We had the what's going on since we last talked. I mean, so much. We had the inauguration due to the failures of the big Trump plan that never materialized. Wrong one.
The price is wrong, bitch.
You know, we have a new press secretary, and while I don't know a lot about her, I think her name is Jan Psaki, Psaki. I don't know. She's whatever.
She's kind of cute. She reminds me of like the little Debbie snack girl.
She reminds me of the Wendy's chick with her hair pulled down.
Yeah, it's new modern.
Yeah, I'm going to ask her why she's charging me for extra cheese when I don't want any cheese.
We went from hot and fiery, Trump's secretary, to sweet and soft.
We also went from somebody who can answer just about any question with a fairly intelligible answer to somebody who doesn't know and will get back to you later.
Yeah, we'll talk with the administration and see what they have to say about that.
Like the other day, I caught this earlier this week. Press secretary was asked by the vicious journalists that are in that room.
Attack dogs.
Yeah. Did you notice now that with the regime change, they've become all nice and sweet?
I've noticed that, and things have started calming down, and I think just life is going to be, we're going to be coddled into this smooth transition of nothingness, and
yeah, like how are the dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they going to paint the?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've got right here. Press secretary was asked if Biden will change the paint scheme on Air Force One. Is there nothing more pressing happening in this fucking country that should be, I don't know, brought to light?
You would think.
There's a million things going on. I mean, I've heard theories. I don't know if they're real or not, but I've heard that Chinese people have been buying up farms in this country. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would lend credibility to this, but one of the things that I've heard being talked about is that they're buying up land in the Bahamas, which seems
Jamaica,
virtually impossible. I don't think that would be allowed. I'm sure that we have some kind of an agreement with the countries that own those.
Yeah, I think what
those
they're
areas.
doing is they're giving them massive loans. As a consequence, they're getting favors.
So why not press, I don't know, the press secretary on those particular issues rather than when they asked her if Biden is going to change the paint scheme on Air Force One, she said, "What a great question. I'll find out. I've been super busy."
I want to know what happened to Biden's hairline fracture on his, I don't know if it was on his heel or toe or, I mean, this guy is 80-something years old. I mean, I get a paper cut and, I'm in my 40s and it takes freaking a month to heal. So all of a sudden he's just hip-scopping around with Kamala Harris. And
why not ask her about the images of Biden's son smoking drugs while banging whores?
That's fake news, Bob.
I mean, okay, I get it. That's his son. That's not him.
What about the actual indictment in Ukraine from Ukrainian officials implicating Joe Biden himself in corruption? I mean, he's actually been indicted in a court of law in Ukraine. And I know Ukraine's one of the most corrupt places in the world. So,
what do you think that's why he's put a stop to the Keystone? That's like a multi-sided die there as far as benefits go. As far as, they say killing two birds with one stone. He killed like 10 birds with that one executive order regarding the Keystone Pipeline. He paid a lot of people back big time favors with one stroke of a pen there.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thinks there's that motive behind it of protecting the environment, and that's never the motive.
No,
I mean,
it's never the motive.
Something that's been pre-calculated, planned, and plotted for quite some time, and as a consequence, everybody wins except for the American people, which we get screwed every single time. So.
I mean, one of the benefits is that Warren Buffett owns the railroad that is now transporting all of that oil.
Yeah.
And Warren Buffett donated $58 million to the Biden campaign. Warren Buffett would lose billions in transport fees if the pipeline was completed.
Yeah.
So
and that was
it's never an environmental issue.
Yeah, once that was online, it was it not only substantiated the jobs that was building it, but once it's online, it would actually create even more jobs because you would have not only oil flowing, but revenue flowing. So it would benefit all the region, and I guess he's going to put a stop to that. I don't understand why he didn't have counsel on measures to either slow that down or readdress what was going on with that and why they felt it was going to cost too much. They just abruptly stopped it. And if that's going to be his mantra of every single policy, every single thing that's going on that he doesn't like, he just stops it abruptly, we're going to have some serious problems in this nation because, I mean, you were talking about a project on a massive scale, so it affects everybody across the board. And if he's going to continue to do that, like, I'm not even going to examine why this is happening or why we started in the first place. I'm just going to absolutely stop it for no reason at all because I want to. I mean, he's going to create a clusterfuck in this country. We already know he is anyway, but I don't know who's advising him. Apparently, Hunter Biden. Because
well, I mean, it's a ballsy thing to do because during the Trump tenure there was a lot of implications thrown towards Biden regarding his connections with the energy companies in the Ukraine. And, well, what is oil? It's a form of energy, right? It's a textile used for energy, I guess. I don't know what else to call it, but it looks like he's helping them out so that they can pump. I mean, back whenever COVID hit and everybody was ordered to stay home and oil dropped to what, $20 a barrel? And they were like, if it drops below this, we're just going to have to stop production because it costs us more to get it out of the ground than it does to.
Yeah, it's called
so
energy.
Right. So, and there were, during that time, was it Russia and Saudi Arabia that wanted to continue moving oil in massive amounts? Well, and they're like, stop.
I think Saudi Arabia didn't have a direct line into the European market, which it was trying to establish, because we're obviously friendly with Saudi Arabia, and we have been for a long time. Russia had dominated that market in Europe, along with a few other nations, but that was what Obama's mantra was all about, was getting a pipeline built and having an administration in Syria that was favorable to that through American companies to get that pipeline to compete with Russian oil. And it looks like Trump, he stifled that momentum. I think he just pretty much killed the project. Biden jumped back in, and I think he's just going to continue the policies that Obama hoped to achieve during his presidency, because he's going right back in and sending troops into Syria. So they're going right back in full speed ahead. And I think regime change is in the wind for Syria to help facilitate getting that pipeline back in. That represents millions of dollars. It's the same old bait and switch with every single war we've been in. Why they went to war in Iraq, and why they want to go to war with Iran. Natural resources, energy, all these concepts are billions and billions of revenue, and everybody's got their pockets lined, no matter whether on the surface or not. That's what I see happening in the very near future.
He's already, like, with that one stroke of the pen, he kind of went against two of his big campaign promises. One was that he would not kill the Keystone Pipeline. Straight up, said during a debate, said during multiple interviews.
Same thing, we will not kill fracking.
Yeah,
fucking
that
flip-flop
too.
on that too.
Yeah, and the other one was good paying union jobs.
Yeah.
And, well, you just killed 44,000 of them.
Yeah.
You know, this was what you did.
Pissed off people, too.
Now, if I have a catering business and I want to move to a better, more efficient, better for everybody catering business, am I going to shut the one down before I've even broke ground on my new one? No, I'm going to continue operating so I can continue my revenue coming in, so I can afford to build the new one, right? And keep everybody working.
That's kind of where I was going with that whole. Well, you don't just completely stop a financial juggernaut such as building a pipeline just because you decide to. I mean, come on, you're affecting thousands and thousands of Americans' lives. Not only that, but Canadians' lives also. And their livelihood.
When you do the math, it's not, some people don't really take this into account, that when you take a job away from somebody that was working on that pipeline, which was a good paying job, it's very hard work. It's work that most people don't want to do. You've got to be a certain kind of crazy to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
But it's good money. That guy probably has a family, probably goes out to eat, buys a lunch bag, whatever. He wears work boots. All of that stuff comes out of his pocket, and that,
taxes.
So that's tens of thousands of guys who aren't buying lunch, who aren't buying work boots anymore. So those are more jobs that are, I guess, like supporting jobs, like the guy at the McDonald's who takes his order for lunch, gone. Because these guys are gone. They're not buying lunch. They're not buying work boots. They're not buying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they're adding to the local economy. They're adding to their state economies. Yeah, it's all around bad when you start knocking out large swaths of industry and revenue for states and local municipalities. You get nowhere, and you get the American people upset too. And what are you going to replace that with? This concept of build back better. This is something he's been parroting along with the World Economic Forum, Justin Trudeau in Canada. A lot of other European leaders have repeated this mantra of build back better.
You've even heard Tedros, the WHO idiot, talking about we're going to build back better.
Yeah.
The vaccines.
They're going to build it back better.
The climate change and the vaccine.
Giant purse that the politicians have been used to dipping their hands in that Trump kind of fucked up for them. So now they're going to build it back better. So they're fucking the American people even more and getting more money in their pockets. So.
Well, I'm okay with his idea of clean energy and good paying jobs in clean energy, but shouldn't we get the clean energy going first? Meanwhile, keep the other thing going, because I don't know if you've noticed, gas prices have gone up roughly 30 cents.
Yeah. Well,
in the last 2 weeks.
I mean, they've been talking about clean energy for a long time, and they've taken a few measures with regard to technology to help along that. But this concept of clean energy is just, it's another parallel to the whole climate change mantra that they've been harping on for the better part of 50, 60 years, And they're going to continue that, and they're going to escalate it at a degree that we've never seen before. And I think personally it's going to cost thousands and thousands of Americans jobs. And rightfully so. This is what's on the table already. They already know that automation, artificial intelligence are going to be at the forefront of this new Build Back Better technology, and as a consequence, they're getting us used to this already by offering us basic income, and we're gonna write another $4.2 trillion stimulus check so you can get your groceries the next month. They're all building us up to this concept of, well, you just stay home and the state will take care of you. You can suck off the tit of us, and you don't have to have any ambition or want a career, or we're going to make the environment perfect for you. They're not going to do anything.
No, go ahead and take that Gender Studies 203 class that you've been eyeballing on your course list.
Yeah.
Because your student loans are going to be forgiven anyway, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess Kamala Harris doesn't have any real concept of policy and what she wants to do in her administration under Biden, because she just can't stop dancing. She loves to dance. So I guess
TikTok video shit, or I haven't seen any of this, so.
And it's every time she gets on TV, she's dancing. I mean, she just must be the happiest woman in the world. It's like Bill Clinton and his saxophone every time we get a chance,
Yeah. The Biden executive order thing has been
42 and counting.
Man, he's been like, I'm surprised that ink hasn't gone up because of how much he's used writing his name on these blank pieces of paper.
Have you seen the video of him trying to put the pen back in his pocket, and I think he drops it? And then he mumbles, what am I signing again?
Yeah. Right. So what is it? Is this so I can get lunch? Do I need to include gratuity?
Like he's going into his inauguration, entering in the White House. I guess they had it at the White House, and I guess he's getting fed what to say through an earpiece, and he's in between these two Marines, and I guess somebody in the earpiece says, "Salute the Marines." So he mumbles, "Salute the Marines."
Right, yeah. I mean, I've seen quite a few memes. One was earlier today where the guy's taking a bottle of Tabasco and holding it to his eyeball and saying, there are many things I would rather do than to hear Biden speak.
Yeah.
I
mean, if he can speak for more than 20 minutes without being winded or forgetting where he's at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing we really have to compare right now in the very near future, in the very recent past is Trump. They need to get up there for an hour and a half and just railing off right and left. Whatever question was asked, he had an answer for it. And Biden can't seem to pull his thoughts together enough to figure out what he had for lunch yesterday.
I mean, while Trump's answers weren't exactly above 8th grade reading level, they were still answers that were off the top of his head. They weren't coached, and they weren't
teleprompter.
He didn't necessarily make any new words while he was giving out his answer.
Any friends, for that matter.
He just didn't use any words that were bigger than 5 letters. I think they both suck personally, but
yeah.
One of the executive orders, I don't know if he's already signed it. I haven't looked in the last day or two. I have seen it in I won't say the news, being discussed online, is the $15 an hour minimum wage. Now, the last time minimum wage was adjusted was back in 2009. It was raised to $7.25 an hour, which I think I talked with a couple of guys who live in Australia, and their minimum wage is just under $20 an hour. I don't know how that works. Are we looking at other countries like Australia, even though they're less than 1/10 of our population? I mean, they're at about 25 million total for that whole country, in a country that's about the same landmass as ours. Somehow they are able to have a McDonald's over there, and with almost $20 an hour minimum wage. I
don't know their economy and how they structured their minimum wage and how they've progressively escalated that to the amount that it's at today. But the mere fact that we haven't had, like I said, a structured escalation in the minimum wage step by step to bring us to that point, doubling the minimum wage is really going to create opportunity, and it's going to create a lot of pain, because it basically is going to shut down a lot of operations that won't be able to afford to have the same amount of staff and the same amount of benefits.
Well, it's going to be gradual now. It's not going to be like, okay, tomorrow you're getting $15 an hour. I think by 2025. So I'm sure it'll go up to probably $10 an hour to begin with, and then go to $11.50 and then $13.75, that kind of shit, over 10 to 12 month increments, because we're only 4 years away from the 2025 thing. So there's already talk of, well, there's automatic burger machines, there's automatic French fry machines, there's automatic order taker, like the little kiosks that you walk up and you just punch it in yourself. I mean,
but same thing in like China and Japan. They got an entire restaurant. You go up like a vending machine. You pay with your credit card or your phone.
But you still have to have a support crew for that stuff. It's not like you just turn it on and walk away. Somebody still has to feed, a hamburger patty. What are you going to put a cow at one end and and at the other end it's a completed burger? No, that ain't the way it works. Know. So you're going to have somebody monitoring. It's like the self-check. You've got 6 or 8 registers with one cashier kind of overlooking all of them. If anybody has a coupon or if anybody has an issue, is trying to buy beer, has to verify age, well, you call them over. My wife hates that shit. She's like, they're not paying me. I'm not working for them. I'm not ringing up my own groceries. Well, it's like, yeah, but I'd rather, especially in days of COVID, not that I'm a big COVID nut, but if I can minimize who all touches my shit, my groceries, cool. And I don't like interacting with people anyway, because I generally don't like people. So that's just me. It's a negative personality trait of mine. So if I can do shit without any interaction whatsoever with a human being, wonderful. And I'm okay with the self-check idea. And I think it's a good business model for them, because one cashier's handling 8 goddamn registers.
Yeah.
So I don't see an issue with it. Will that be the fast food chain down the road? Will it be one guy dumping in the fries into the automatic fry cooker, and then he goes and dumps the burgers into the burger maker?
Futurama with a robot guy named Fry?
Yeah, I don't watch that show, so
I just remember it on the commercials,
Yeah.
I'm all for raising minimum wage. It's ridiculous that it's at what it is at now, but
when you look what things cost, I mean, just around here, I don't know how it's going through the rest of the country.
It's going
and I haven't
everywhere.
Talked to you about this, but housing prices are just unfucking believable right now. My brother bought a home 5 houses down from me back in he bought it in 2016. He rented it first for like 6 or 8 months, and then he bought it. That was part of the deal. The guy knew my brother wanted to buy it, but he wasn't in a credit position where he could. His score was a little shy, so the guy let him rent it at an inflated rate for like 6-8 months, and then with my help he was able to get his credit to where it needed to be so he could buy the home, and he paid $82,000 for it, which is a killer deal for a home. Well, he just sold it about 2-3 weeks ago, and he got $131 and change for it. That's a decent profit for only owning a home for 5 years. And I know him, he never made above the minimum payment. So he did very minimum improvements to it. It still needs work. So that home was bought by a hedge fund.
Wow.
Yeah, check that one out. It was bought as an investment. And from what I've heard, I haven't gone down there, but from what the neighbors down there have told my wife, it's already rented out. I don't even think they did anything to the place. They were like, all right, here's the keys. That place needed the hardwood floors changed out, and all of the masonite on the exterior needed to be ripped off and changed out to vinyl.
Well, it's like in 2008.
They're not doing that.
2008, during the market crash, because they were selling the mortgages. I mean, hundreds of thousands of families were foreclosed on and lost their home, everything they built. And these finance companies came in and just bought large sloughs of America housing and as investment properties. And now we're going to see a repeat of that same scenario. That's what, they're going to overinflate the market. And now we have a massive immigration circumstance that may be on the horizon that is going to be unchecked. So you're going to have another rollout of demand, further driving prices, and it's completely unsustainable. Everybody knows, like the stock market, these companies aren't worth what their stock prices are valued at, but they're overinflating these stocks just like they are the mortgages, and something's going to happen. It's going to happen bad, and as a consequence, we're going to be left holding the bag as Americans, like we always are, and they're going to have another excuse and another policy saying we can't let this happen again, and it'll sound good on the surface, and with a stroke of a pen they'll write a new law, and then it'll fuck us even further.
Well, that's why this is kind of a double-edged sword with the housing values going up so much. I've talked to quite a few young millennials or older Zoomers, Gen Z, and they're in their early to mid 20s, and there's no fucking way in hell they're going to be able to buy any kind of a house anytime fucking soon. Okay. And it's not because they don't have a living wage. And fucking $15 an hour is not going to put them in a home.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's because the market everything's double what it's worth right now. And where that was a problem back in '08, everybody was like, well, the market went bad because they were writing all these subprime loans. The FHA guideline, I think, is 29 or 30%. So your mortgage payment can be 29, 30%. We'll just say 30% of your monthly income. So if you bring in $3,000 a month income,
you qualify for
you
that.
qualify for a mortgage. It's around $900 a month.
Yeah. Well,
right.
That's why 2008 happened, because they were writing fucking mortgages for.
I personally knew people that were at close to 60% of their gross monthly income went to their mortgage.
Yeah.
And the reason, but the reason they had that was because this $110,000 home cost them $200,000 because the prices went up so freaking high. They had no choice but to pay that in order to. It's not like they went, oh, that's my dream home, I'm going to buy it. No, they bought what they thought was affordable. It's not the home that they wanted. They wanted this other home that was really, really way nicer, had the granite countertops. But no, they had to go with the older home that had been here for 38 years with the original Formica countertops in it and 15-year-old appliances and carpet. Mm-hmm. Because that's what they could afford.
Yeah.
Because the pricing had gone up so much, it priced them out of having what they really wanted. So they just took what they could get.
Yeah.
And so it's a double-edged sword with all this. And these assholes with these hedge funds buying up these homes like this screw young couples trying to buy starter homes out of the market.
Well, another thing you have that comes into play also, and you talked about this early on the show, was China's pursuit of not only commercial but real estate market.
Right.
They're actually using shell companies to come in and buy properties and massive amounts of land in the U.S. And that was going on under Obama's administration, right on everybody's noses, and nobody even lifted a finger because, of course, everybody's making money. You know, Chinese money coming in. Nobody really knows this from the Chinese.
The mortgage companies are making money.
Yeah. In the mortgage company, they didn't give a shit if you had a 400 credit score. They'd get you the loan, and then within a couple of months, they just sell that off.
We listed the home with a family friend that we've known for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't Iris?
No.
No. Okay.
Iris is in a timeout until I can learn to code her a little bit better. So
I'd like to code her.
Oh, well, if I ever decide to trade up, I'll give you dibs on her. So he could talk to me kind of off the record, I guess you'd say, because I've known this guy for over 30 years, and it was my brother's home that was being sold, but sort of I was kind of the one, kind of the go-between between my brother and him.
So what was his insight?
Well, the house was on the market one day.
Yeah.
Sold.
Wow. That's crazy.
One day. Now, they say this particular area, houses used to average 42 days on the market. Now they average 17. So this is a hot fucking market. My brother's house sold in a day. And I'm sure it has to do with the price point, bang for buck kind of thing. Price per square foot wasn't high per se. He told me we got 3 offers. One of them's a cash offer. And I said, well, tell me about the cash offer. Of course. He said, well, the cash offer is actually above asking price. It was roughly $1,000 over asking price. He said, well, it's a hedge fund. And I was like, oh, tell me more. He said the realtor works with this company that does hedge fund investing, and they buy up homes. And then he kind of made a gesture that lucky bitch, you know?
Yeah.
Because his realtor's just got money just automated coming out of her ass now because she's got 1 home sold, 2 homes sold, 3 homes sold, because they keep buying up everything that within a certain price point. That's something that they can rent out. That kind of bothers me. It's not only are the mortgage companies are making out on this shit too, but you have, because they're not putting this house back on the market. They're not trying to dump 20 grand into it and make 80 off of it. They're not doing that. They're just renting it out.
Well, my theory is they're trying to fatten their portfolio, and they fundamentally understand that when they have tangible assets versus liquid assets, say if you're investing in Facebook and some of these app companies in Silicon Valley, they really don't have a lot of tangible assets if if the market were to go belly flop.
Yeah.
They don't have milk trucks and factory properties. They've got offices. So when their billion-dollar industry collapses, you don't get anything out of it. But these hedge fund managers, they inherently know, and they may know something that is coming down the line. Like, this shit's gonna fail.
It's a gamble.
And we got tangible assets as a consequence of our investments.
It'll never go down to zero.
No, it'll never go down to zero. No.
Right. So,
But
yeah,
the
well,
market,
that's
the market
that was
could
my
flop.
thought. If the market does tank in 2 years, and that $130 house is now worth the $82 my brother originally paid for it,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to get $1,200 a month rent out of that bitch. The rent is going to go down. They're going to have to go down to like $750, $800 a month. So how do they make money on that? Did they just hold on to it until it gains value again? I mean, isn't it like they almost caused their own demise by buying up all these homes and driving up
Not really, because if you look at it, if they got their money sitting in a fund or invested in a company that has, like I said, zero assets, sure, it may be making them money in the short term, but in the long term, when there's a downturn in the economy, they're holding all the cards because they have all the tangible assets, the properties. So they're going to have something to substantiate their portfolio long term, and that may be what they're actually going for. They don't want to have their money all tied up in virtual wherever. They want something that they can use as some type of collateral when things do go south. And maybe all these hedge fund managers and investment companies know something is coming on the horizon and they're forecasting it. So as a consequence, they're parking their money into actual physical things.
Yeah, tangibles.
Even if they lose a little money in the short run, when it all settles out and the dust is over, whatever economic strife happens in the future, whether it's a housing market crash or whatever, they're still holding the chips.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
they'll
I
be able
mean,
to
when
call the
you're
shots.
when you're playing with billions of dollars, losing 35 grand on a home sale isn't a big fucking deal. It's like one of us dropping a 20 on the ground coming out of the gas station. You know,
Yeah, we don't understand the concept of having billions of dollars at your disposal, tied up in funds to use. I mean, but they do. I know I'm still trying to pay my damn house off, and it's getting there, but
yeah,
it's like a pendulum swing, and I'm waiting for the pendulum to swing back the other way, where, now all of a sudden I'm screwed. I'm out of work because some machine took over my job, and I can't pay my mortgage, and they're knocking on the door to try to foreclose it, and some hedge fund fucking manager in a suit, no offense, hedge fund managers, but is, kicking my own family out of my house after I worked all these years to try to pay it off, and got on my luck, down on my luck,
I know my luck. The minute I pay off my home, they'll invent a tax for paid off homes that equals my fucking mortgage.
They did.
I
don't know if Biden's approved it yet, but there is a bill that he's very close to signing that basically changes the inheritance. So right now, if you have a house inherited by your mom or your dad that pass, you have to pay taxes on that home at fair market value, which could be, say, if it's a $200,000 home and you sold it for $205,000, you have to pay taxes, whatever that is. But what he's trying to change is he's trying to change the amount of tax you pay on an inherited property goes all the way back to the original price, which could be $25,000 or even $7,000 back in the 20s of when it was originally purchased.
Right.
From the time you sell it today, he wants to tax you on that profit, which is devastating. You lose everything.
I looked up because I wasn't aware of the numbers involved with capital gains taxes. So with my brother netting close to 50 grand on his home sale, I wasn't really sure if he needed to worry about that or not. And it turns out capital gains affects anything over $250,000 of profit. So he was safe. I know that Obama had raised the inheritance tax to over like 50% or some shit like that back in like 2011, 2012. It did a lot of things that, why should you get a cut of my parents' hard-earned money? I mean, you already taxed them 30% on their retirement fund. Anytime they wanted to take anything out of 401k, it cost you fucking 30%.
I don't know, but I'm wholeheartedly believe that Obama's hand is shoved so far up Joe Biden's ass, he can grab his tongue and stick it back down his stomach. And he's puppeting him and just pulling all the strings in the background. I don't think he ever actually went away during the Trump administration. I think he had his hands on the levers of power through whatever shadow contingency.
I mean, he gave his husband, Michelle, a podcast and said, I'll be back later.
Yeah, and they actually, I think they own quite a bit of Netflix, right?
I'm sure they have
They're
stock
on the
options of
board
some
or
sort.
Something. I think
I keep
they're
hearing-
able to make decisions.
Yeah, I keep hearing things like, YouTube isn't even profitable yet. Netflix isn't going to turn a profit for the next 17 years or whatever the fuck. Like, what the fuck ever?
They're selling so much data. I mean, data is the new oil. I think I've said that before.
Yeah.
And when you begin to understand the circumstances of what data represents as far as economics.
Well, I've heard people say Netflix keeps going up on their rates. Like every 10 months, they're like, sorry, we're going to have to raise it to $11.95. Now it's going to be $14.95. So I've heard that within like 5 years, it's going to be the same price as cable. It's going to be like $60-$80. Well, no, I don't give a fuck how much content they have
Which
on
they
there.
don't really have that much.
It's not worth what they're charging now to me. I don't want to watch any of that shit. So
Well, every time I turn on, I have Netflix. My wife pays for it. I would never pay for Netflix just because whatever.
Yeah.
But every time I turn it on, it's the same freaking crap. There may be one movie that's dubbed from German into English, and I don't really want to watch it in the first place, but it's the only thing new. And they keep putting stuff into my feed that I really don't even care about. And I think their library is all washed up. And so,
well, maybe I'm damaged goods here because it seems like whenever I watch anything that's on Netflix, my woke meter is just pinging, dude. I'm like, okay, there they are, trying to inject it. I can't even watch a fucking movie anymore without them trying to inject woke bullshit.
Yeah, I get that too.
Okay, here we are, and it's in every commercial too. Oh, look, the straight white male in the commercial's a fucking bumbling retard.
Yeah.
But his light-skinned African-American better half is the brains of the operation.
Well, I mean, that's the mantra across the board. It's on every commercial and everything you see on TV now.
But it's so unnecessary.
Well,
Like, it's not even cute anymore. Like, it's not even cute. Oh, look, haha, he's stupid.
They're reacting to the geoengineering, and they're going to banter to whatever it is to get that customer in agreement with them. They don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, gay, straight. You're a dollar bill to them.
You're trying to sell paper towels, man.
Whatever they got to do to get you on board.
Paper towels sell themselves. You know what sells paper towels? The price and the fact that they're stocked on the fucking shelves these days.
I don't know. I like that brownie guy. He's pretty cool.
Costco and Sam's for me. So
that Netflix guy, what is it? Mark Bernays Randolph. I guess he's the co-founder and first CEO of Netflix, and he's the great-grandnephew of Sigmund Freud. And Edward Bernays, he was the one that wrote the book I let you borrow. It was called Propaganda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he wrote that in the 1920s. And so that guy is associated with those guys who basically tell us how to think and interpret thought. And
tell me about your mother.
So maybe there is a motive behind Netflix and their programming and what they choose to emphasize and what they choose not to.
I don't remember Blockbuster when you'd walk in there. I don't remember there being anything that could be construed as being alt-right being at the bottom shelf and all the liberal-minded documentary fucking woke bullshit being eye level.
No.
Like the brand name Cheerios being at eye level, but the store brand is 2 shelves down.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember that being a thing. So what the fuck? How does that even end up as part of the business model? You stream films, movies, TV shows, programming.
Yeah.
I get it. Child porn. Okay, let's keep that out. You know what I'm saying? Anything maybe ridiculously racist. Okay.
I mean, inherently, I'm pretty sure that most of the people that work for these big giant corporations have no clue what the motive is behind anything. But I'm pretty sure that these CEO bastards that go to these Davos meetings and these World Economic Forum meetings and whatever, Bilderberg meeting, whatever they are, they get together and they say, we're going to focus on this. We want to social engineer these people to think a particular way, and you play your part, Google, you play your part, Netflix. We're going to work our part in the government, and collectively we're going to get people to think one way, and they're going to get it from every single aspect of entertainment, finance, anything we can do to get them to think that.
But is it a case of, okay, well, if you don't play along, then we're not going to let you offer Netflix in our country? Like, is that how it works?
It quite possibly could, but I think they already know that as long as you play ball, then you're going to make a killing, because everybody's on board, And they don't really care about They don't care about us. It's the same thing as the bigger echelons of all these medical organizations, the WHO and CDC. Everybody thinks that they care about you. They don't care about us. They really don't. They care about profit and they care about regulation. I mean, the person that's operating on you, the person that's caring for you when you're in the hospital, but yes, those people care. I'm not going to bastardize the little people that actually have a heart and will take care of people like us if we're in those positions. But these giant corporations, they don't care about your health. Otherwise, they would have been telling us to take vitamin D and vitamin C all the whole time this COVID shit was going on. Have you heard anything about that on the news?
Of course. Well, not on the mainstream.
No. They were actually, British regulators are advocating after the results in Spain have come out. The people that were actually taking vitamin D had a 82% reduction in COVID deaths. And so now they're exploring the possibility of somehow implementing that into the regimen of whatever they have their citizens do, which should have been the mantra in the first place. So, I mean, all these new measures that they're changing on a whim, like WHO, that are talking about we're going to have a unified PCR cycle so that there's no more fluctuation in what country does what. We want you to lower that frequency so it's more accurate.
27 cycles now is the recommended. Why was it 44 under Trump?
And why was it all up and down everywhere all across the board? And why now? And, now they're praising Biden because the caseload's going down and things are getting better. I mean, if people can't see what this represents, which is absolute snowball to demonize and get Trump out, then I don't know what more you need to be able to understand. And whether you like Trump or not, there was a collective effort to screw him at every single opportunity. And then that begs the question, you have to ask why. There was an agenda, and he was not following along with the big boys' agenda. And hate him or love him, which in the end, he just handed over the keys to the circus show of Biden administration. But say what you want to say, he did not want to play ball, and he was going towards making us a little bit more independent and protecting us from some of Chinese CCP policies and economic warfare, information warfare, which Obama let run amok during his administration, and I assume Biden will too, and if not, become more friendly with him. It makes you wonder, you have to say to yourself, why did all this take place, and why are these changes happening now? If you can't see that there was an agenda, then you're clearly not looking careful enough. And you should be looking careful enough. This is going to affect the rest of your life. And a lot of people are very upset about what's going on and how things are changing and the language you're using now and this soft, everything's going to be fine. Let's get everybody the vaccine. And that's just the COVID side. I'm not even addressing the actual economic side of what's happening, which is going to be even worse down the line. So this is my 2 cents,
Right.
That's why I changed my underwear for this. I knew it was going to get shitty.
All right, everybody. I'm going to cut off part 1 right here for this episode. I appreciate everybody listening in this far with my discussion with my good buddy Wyzegye. Be sure to check him out at wyzegye.com. That's his website where he, basically curates or keeps a repository of things that tend to get deleted off the internet for some reason. So you're welcome to go there and kick around and see what he's got. Also, go ahead and throw out my information, boomerbobshow@gmail.com. Leave me a voicemail at 256-229-4105. That's 256-229-4105. Check the links in the description to join our Discord server and hang out with us. And I will work on editing the next episode and get it out within the next day or 2. Thank you, guys.
Ain't no lie, getting old as a bitch. Gonna spit this game, only way I'll get rich.